Please, allow me to show you something.
Hi guys, it's really nice to have both of you here. I've been very impressed by Espen's recent run of successes with the extremely tough Spring Fours and that following hot on the heels of the Winter Games. So what we're going to do, if it's okay with you, is get Espen to talk to us a little bit about the Winter Games and how you got to the final of that, and a little bit of detail on a few hands. So tell us a bit about the approach to this point, Espen.
We had a good team because we had Richard and me, Rimstead from Sweden, and Eric Berg and Peter Crouch. But when we got to the last match in qualifying, we had the worst draw ever. We played the Zimmerman team, obviously without Zimmerman playing, and we had to win. And Richard and I didn't play that match, but the boys managed to win that one, so we qualified. And they were knocked out, which was handy. In the round of first knockout match, we were all tied on the last board. But if we hadn't won that board, we would have been out as well, because the Indian team we played against, we lost by 2 imps to them in the qualifying. So they had a 0.1 carryover. But we won a swing on the last board, so we qualified.
See, they were a team of destiny.
And then after that, to be honest, we won all the match comfortably.
Right.
And played quite well. So yeah, it was, and then obviously we weren't even part of the prize giving, Richard and me. We were already in a bus when the last set was played in the final, back to the airport, flew back and played the Spring Fours.
Ready to play in the Spring
He didn't even come home. He literally just went straight from the airport off to Bristol, did this whole thing again. But he did send me a text saying, I want to win the Spring Fours as well.
If that doesn't seem greedy or anything.
No.
Okay, great. So let's have a look at a couple of the hands. The first one, I think, was an interesting hand from the point of view of the auction, the first one you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, when you asked me to pick hands for the Winter Games, I actually looked at the hands, and what I think we did well, what Rich and I did well, was we done so much bidding practice, and we didn't have any, if any, cock-up in the bidding. And we bid some great slams. So I've taken a few of those hands as an example for that. And the first one was in the third set in the semi-final against the French, towards the end of the last set. And I opened a diamond, and Richard bid 2 clubs. I reversed with 2 spades.
Is the 2 clubs a game force for you guys?
It's game forcing with clubs, yeah.
Right. And so are you showing extras then when you bid 2 spades?
Yeah, I'm showing at least 15 count with 2 spades.
Right.
He bid 3 clubs, which is in a way inviting me to support the 4 clubs.
Right.
Otherwise he would have bid 2 no trump or 4 suit. But I had showed my entire hand with 2 spades, so I signed off in 3 no trump, and he carried on with 4 clubs. And now I thought my hand was really good. I had a stiff jack of clubs, which is a great card. In the suit, he's bid 3 times. The 2 aces and king, queen, 10, 50 diamond. So now I just took charge. I bid 4 diamonds, which for us is Roman keycard blackwood for clubs.
That's any time you've agreed clubs as trumps, you use 4 diamonds as key.
Yeah, here is every time it's clear, and we have quite good agreements about that. But so here was clear. There was keycard for clubs. So I bid that. He showed all the aces we were missing. So I bid the next step is asking for the queen of clubs. And he bid 5 no trump, which shows he got the queen of clubs and extra, but no king to show.
Right.
So I knew he didn't have the king of spades or the king of hearts. But the extra he had to have was probably an extra club.
Right.
So I can see in my hand that with king, queen, 10 to 5 diamonds, as long as he doesn't have a stiff ace of diamonds, this contract's going to be huge. And even if you have that, he can still rough good 1 diamond. So I bid 7 clubs. And double dummy, you can make it by, they lead a heart, you win the ace. You can cash the jack of club, cross to the ace of diamonds, and run all your clubs. Right. You might have to cash the ace of spades first, and then you have a squeeze on. If you look at a hand who was jack 9 to 5 diamonds, he also has the king of spades.
Yes. So he
gets squeezed. So with that line, you can squeeze the opponent and make it, but that's not the right line, obviously. The right line is to draw trumps, rough out the diamond like Richard did, and if that doesn't work, you take the spade finesse. So the slam is fantastic. But we went down. But in the other room was Thomas Bessis and Lorenzini, which just won the European Championship in Strasbourg. And they bid the 7 clubs as well and played the same line and went down. So it's a flat board, which you will expect on those level on these kind of hands. But you cannot afford to bid 7 clubs on these hands. I mean, if we bid 6 and 1 on this board, we'd have been really lucky, obviously, but normally you would lose.
Today you'd have been lucky, but another time not so much.
Yeah, we had a big lead now going into the 4th set, and this hand coming up now was the first hand of the 4th set in the semi-final. Richard opened 1 diamond, which is normally five diamonds for us, or it could be 4-4-4-1. They overcalled 1 heart. Now I could obviously double to show 4 spades or bidding 2 clubs. But again, I had such a good hand, and I can always show this hand by bidding 2 clubs first and then bidding spades later. For us, shows a strong hand. Otherwise, I would show my spades first.
Mm-hmm. Like a responder's reverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I bid 2 clubs, and Richard bid 2 no trump. So I know he had a bit extra, because otherwise he would have bid 2 diamonds normally always.
Right.
2 clubs wasn't game for sticking anymore because they overcalled.
Because there was competition,
but, yeah. Over 2 no trump, I bid 3 spades, and Richard bid a very good bid, I thought. He bid 4 hearts.
Is he denying a diamond control here? I mean, he bypasses clubs because that's your suit, so he wouldn't show shortage there. But why does he bypass diamonds?
Well, he doesn't deny a diamond control. He just showing the most important thing is the heart control.
Right.
And 4 card spade support. Yeah, at the point Richard bid 4 hearts, showing a really good hand for spades, I was thinking, why didn't he bid 2 spades himself over my 2 clubs, which he normally would do with a good hand with diamonds and spades. And at that point, I was pretty sure he had to be 4-4-4-1 with singleton club.
So the 2 spades would have shown longer diamonds.
Yeah, 2 spades would have been diamonds and spades. And if he had this extra, he would normally bid that. So I was pretty sure he had 4-4-4-1 at this time with stiff club. Anyway, I bid Blackwood. We had all the key cards. And I bid 5 no trump to ask for specific kings.
Right.
And he bid 6 diamond to show the king of diamonds. And now it took quite a bit of time, because now I had to, you can call it guess, judge. Should I put the contract in 7 spades or 7 no trump?
Let's call it judge.
Yeah.
Sounds so much wiser.
My clubs were so good that, but a new partner had a singleton, so maybe you will need to rough the club good, pitching the 2 hearts and ace king of diamonds. But obviously in the 7 spades, I need maybe spades are breaking 5-0.
Yeah.
The guy is overcall a heart. There could be other bad breaks, and I thought, partner ace king of diamonds, he might have the jack of diamonds, so he might just have enough tricks in no trump. So after thinking for a long time, I bid 7 no trump. It's 13 top tricks when the spades are breaking. But in the play, you should play when they lead the king of hearts. You win the ace. You cross to the singleton queen of diamonds. You know, cashing the spades. See that you can finesse the jack. You do that, and you cash the ace king of diamonds. Now, if right-hand opponent has 5 clubs and the 4th diamond, if the diamond's in 4-3, he has it. He's squeezed in clubs and diamonds. So this was the first board in the semi-final, and we made 7 no trump. And I looked at the hand. The guy obviously had a void heart. The partner of the guy overcalled a heart. So 7 spades by Richard hand, that would go down on a heart lead. So
what happened in the other room? Do you know what the auction was?
No, the bidding was actually exactly the same in the other room. Bessis Lorenzini bid just like we did, bid for bid the same, I think. So the board was flat in 7 no trump again. But again, these 2 hands, we didn't win any in them, but the bidding is so important against top teams that you beat them or match them in the bidding, and that's what I think was the reason for our success, really, for Richard and I.
I think the practice is key, because I think from the view of onlookers, it's easy to think that you and Richard have just suddenly had this incredible success and aren't you lucky? But I know how much practice the two of you do together and how hard you work, and that has been fundamental in your success, in my view.
Yeah, I always done hunt with all my partners. I always do lots of bidding practice. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was one more board you were going to tell us about, Espen, before we move on to talking about a little bit of the play that you and Helen have done together as well.
Yeah, okay. This hand was against the Indian team, in which we beat on the last board in the round of 16, and this was, I think, was in the first set. I opened a club, and Richard bid a heart showing spades. I bid one not from showing 17, 19 balanced. He bid two not from, again a convention that doesn't come up very often, which was transferred to clubs.
Right.
I bid three clubs like I do at home. I do what I'm told. And
that's not true.
It is true. And
more good judgment, Espen.
Yeah. And Richard bid three hearts, which now showed three clubs. Two not from could have been showing spades and longer diamonds, but now he confirmed the clubs, four spades normally, and a singleton heart.
Right.
And at least a mild slam try. My right-hand opponent doubled to show a heart lead, and I had ace jack to four hearts. So now my option was bid three not trump. I could bid four clubs. My hand was quite good for clubs, but with two small spades and only three clubs, it looked like quite a lot of work in six clubs, even though I had ace, king, queen of diamonds and ace of hearts. So I started with a redouble, which for us shows the ace in this situation. And Richard bid three spades. And now I bid maybe a conservative three not from, but I thought I had showed interest with showing the ace of hearts since I didn't bid three not from straight away. And Richard carried on with four clubs. And now I bid four diamonds key card again. Mm-hmm. And I bid six clubs. And the guy led the 10 of hearts. I could safety play the clubs. I think actually Sia did that on this hand and went down. He got the squeeze wrong later, but he probably had no bidding or something. But I just thought it's unlikely the guy who doubled hearts going to have the length in clubs. So I just played the king of clubs and clubs to the jack. And you can see there is a risk now if right-hand opponent wins and plays the club back, that I can no longer ruff my spade losers. But I thought if he does that, I'm going to have a double squeeze for sure, queen of hearts on my right, and lefty most likely going to be holding diamonds and spades. I thought, so I did that, and he played a club back, which I didn't like. And now, well, I basically played a diamond to the ace, rough the heart, diamond to the king, rough the heart, and
so
the squeeze just automatically, and yeah. So I made six clubs. The play wasn't too much to it, really. I could have played ace, king of spades and roughed the spade instead, but I didn't think I needed that. And so I made six clubs, and this board we actually won because the Indians didn't bid this slam.
What did they play in?
I played in three not from.
Yeah. Well done, and many congratulations on that board and all the others that got you to victory in the Winter Games, and then to subsequent victory in the Spring Fours as well, as I understand. So very, very successful.
Yeah, and then a week later we went to Norway, Richard and I, and won the Marit Svea's International Pairs Tournament.
So I heard, yes. You're
quite
really
nice, because there was good prize money there.
So listen, tell me a little bit about how it is, the experience of playing top-level bridge as husband and wife, because sort of popular mythology has it that the bridge-playing couple, the married couple, runs into difficulties in arguing over the table or arguing away from the table. How do you two find competing together?
Well, I think I'll answer this one. I might be the boss at home. I'm definitely not the boss at the bridge table. Right. It would be completely fair to say, but actually that makes life very simple. I think a partnership can do very well if one person is in charge. And that's effectively how we operate at the bridge table. Is Espen and I have an agreement. I'm not allowed to argue and he's not allowed to shout at me. And he's only broken that agreement once. We played a session and I said to him afterwards, you shouted at me. And he said, I never said a word. And I said to him, you shouted with your eyes. And he had to admit that it was in fact true.
So there's more than one way to shout. Yeah.
So as long as we both keep to those terms, it works very well. And as we were saying earlier, we do a lot of practice together. We practice a lot of bidding. And that I think is key to our partnership, really.
So tell us a little bit about this hand that you played together that you've chosen from the border match competition. This was what was the event? Tell us a little bit about the event.
This was the Open Europeans in Strasbourg that has taken place quite recently. And we were at this point playing in the mixed BAM being border match, where the scoring is really simple. You're playing against one team. So if you win the board, you get 2 points. If you draw, you get 1 point, and if you lose it, you get a big fat 0. So bidding is key there because you just want to be in the right contract.
Yeah, everything is key, obviously, because every overtrick counts as well.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
it's like the worst of all worlds.
Yeah, it's like a hybrid between imps and match points, isn't it?
It really is.
Everything matters. Yeah,
quite a cruel hybrid as well.
No room for slipping.
This was from the final of the BAM, which was quite hard for us because we didn't get through in the mixed team, so we had to play qualifying from day one in the BAM. So we basically played 5 days qualifying and 1 day final.
Knowing that there was some sort of carry forward, so it seemed worth doing really well in the qualification. But when it came to the carry forward, they took all our lead away and left us with 1 board's worth of lead.
Yeah, we had 26-point lead, which is 13 boards, and they cut it down to 1 basically.
So it wasn't entirely clear as you were going through the qualifiers what the system was, but you just knew that there was some benefit.
They hadn't let us know. They didn't. We just read.
I'm not sure they decided, to be honest.
We just knew there was carry forward, but not how much.
Right. So on this hand that you've picked out as a highlight,
I was sitting east and I opened a diamond.
I bid a heart.
And now I made arguably a little bit of an overbid by bidding 2 spades. But, I had 18 points and I just wanted to get my hand across. In retrospect, maybe bidding 2 no trumps might have been a better bid. But anyway, I bid my 2 spades.
I bid 3 diamonds with this diamond support and forcing after a jump reverse.
And so now clearly I'd kind of expressed myself fully. So I bid 3 no trumps because I had a stopper in 4th suit. If no real further interest unless partner wanted to go on.
Okay.
I know I can see in my hand, I knew partner had the ace of clubs. Likely shape is going to be ace 1 club, 2 hearts and 5 diamonds and 4 spades, or maybe even more likely ace to 3 clubs, stiff hearts, 5 diamonds and 4 spades. So looking at my hand, I knew with king, queen, jack of clubs and 10, 9, third of diamonds and stiff queen of spades, I can see if you're missing a diamond on her, my diamond loser goes away on the ace, king of spades. If you're playing clubs, this is. And if partner had 5, 4, 2 on, I want a contract be played by me. So I jumped to 6 clubs. Bear in mind, we done quite a lot of bidding practice, so I expected Helen to have a little bit better than she had for a 2 spade.
Yeah,
so unfair.
It's quite a leap of faith.
But it's interesting from my perspective as well, because obviously partner has jumped to 6 clubs. You don't normally introduce a new at the 6th level
as a passed hand.
As a passed hand. And so I was also thinking, what's he got? So I knew he's going to have something like king, queen, jack, 10 to 5. And I was also thinking, what is the best hand I could have for him? Clearly the best hand I could have for him would be ace to 3 clubs. But ace doubleton is nearly the best hand that I could have for him. And the other thing I was thinking is, why doesn't he want to be in 6 diamonds or 6 no trumps? And I just thought he almost certainly doesn't have the ace of hearts and probably doesn't have the queen either. So he wants the lead coming round to him. So I passed.
Trust. A lot of trust.
Trust, absolutely. Good in a marriage, good at the bridge table.
Yeah. Unfortunately, meanwhile, Espen was trusting you to have more than the 18 points you had.
He was a bit,
but
wasn't
it
he?
worked out okay.
Well, that was foolish, but it did work out. So I think we won that board, didn't we?
Yeah, we played, they didn't lead the ace of hearts and the diamond finesse. The king of diamonds was on side, so I made all 13 tricks
So you did.
win that board.
Fantastic.
6 clubs, so and 3 in the trump under the table.
So I think, given that we'd had all our carryover taken away when we went into the final, I think we did really well as a team to actually get to bronze and come third, because it was like, sometimes you feel like you might have used up all your luck in the previous 4 days. It's like you've been in a marathon for 4 days and now suddenly you have to do a sprint. Do you see what I mean? So
it's a lot.
So we were all very, very grateful to come out with bronze, I must say.
Well, congratulations. That was very good. So in amongst all of this bridge playing, I gather that you've managed to find time to write a novel. Tell us a little bit about that.
Look, surprisingly, I actually happen to have a copy of it to hand, so you can see what it looks like. So the name of the novel is Murder by Natural Causes, and it's about a 22-year-old contract killer whose name is Scylla, and she works for Vladimir Hoga, who's the gangster owner of TGR's Bridge Club. And during the course of the novel, she does actually learn to play bridge. And one of the things was I thought that you can't really talk about the technicalities of the game, because this is not a book for bridge players. This is a novel for everybody.
Right.
And if you started writing technical features about bridge, any non-bridge playing readers are just going to fall asleep within 3 sentences. So instead, I tried to concentrate more on the feeling of the game and the highs and lows gives you, and that's one of the reasons I based it at TGR's, is because that's a rubber bridge club where people play for money.
Right.
And I felt that everybody would understand what it's like to gamble and to win and lose money.
Yes.
And I hope very much that my own love of bridge at some level comes through in this book. And, if a few people end up taking up bridge because they read this book, then I would die very happy, frankly.
Great job.
I can say I was just in Norway and to visit my 90-year-old mother. And we took a signed copy to her 90-year-old friend, which is my godmother. It turned out she's already ordered the book, which I was quite impressed by, being 90 in Norway. She had gone to a bookstore and ordered it and read it.
I know.
And she liked it, but she also was talking about how much she liked to read about the bridge, which she doesn't even play. So I thought that was quite interesting that a 90-year-old woman from Norway, whose English is her second language, read the book and enjoyed all the scenes about the bridge. So
I must say the bridge community as a whole have been incredibly supportive about this book, and I'm sort of eternally grateful for that. I love the way so many people have got behind it in such a great way. Even when we went out to Strasbourg, we had to fill our suitcases. We had to line them with books, basically, because so many people had demanded signed copies. So that was just fantastic. But this is not high literature, Sue. Please understand that. This is just a ripping yarn.
Well, that's what people want. In the summertime, you want a nice beach read, something that'll just roll along. And if you're a bridge player, having it set in the world of bridge is even more fun. So I'm really looking forward to reading it.
I'll be interested to hear what you think.
Yeah, and I would
if anybody who is reading it, if they have 5 minutes, leave me a review on Amazon or Goodreads. It really is a case of every little helps.
I've also been hoping ever since I watched The Queen's Gambit that somebody would do something cultural on a similar level for bridge, because that series got so many people interested in chess.
When the Sunday Times come over here to take picture of Helen, and they had a little piece of Helen's book and bridge in the paper, the photographer was told he was going to do the Queen's Gambit scene, so Helen had to sit there like that with a card and look like she did in the Queen's Gambit, and that was clearly how they pitched it.
Fantastic. Well, as I say, I'm very much looking forward to reading it. Great. Well, it's been lovely to talk to both of you. Many congratulations on your bronze in the BAM, and you, Espen, on all of that run of successes, hopefully to be followed by many more for both of you. Thank you again very much to both of you, and the best of luck in Marrakesh, Espen. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sue. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Please, allow me to show you something.